Hi, and welcome back to Trying to with Leah. So, today we are talking about living with intention. In order to start us off, I am going to tell you guys a little story. Back when I worked in long term care, I had a new boss, and we were planning on doing an in service, which is a meeting for all of the employees that worked for the facility. And oftentimes I would either help run this meeting or plan for this meeting or provide snacks or whatever needed to be done. This particular time, my new boss had told me, I want you to go get nothing bundt cakes. Just go get a bunch of nothing bundt cakes, bring those back, and then we'll have our in service. And so at the time, Nothing Bundt Cakes was a new business, and I had never heard of them before, ever. So, me being the good employee that I was with the best of intentions, I went to Reese's and I bought nothing but bundt cakes. I bought every kind of bundt cake you could possibly get at Reese's, and I was so confident that that's exactly what I needed to do. So, of course, I get back to the facility and I present all of these bundt cakes, and I'm met with, what? you know? Of course, context is very important, and understanding is very important when you talk about having intentions and actually following through with what you want to happen. Of course, I was given no context with that. Um, she made an assumption that I knew what Nothing Bundt Cakes was. And of course, I made an assumption that that's what she wanted, was just nothing but bundt cakes. So miscommunication there. But definitely, I still had good intentions. And unfortunately, it didn't work out the way that we were needing it to because I didn't have the context or the understanding. But that's exactly what happens whenever we live by beliefs that we've inherited from other people instead of the ones that we've chosen for ourselves. And, living with intention is more than just having good intentions. It's about self awareness. You really need to know who you are and what you want as a person on your own outside of what everybody else has thrown at you. We have things placed on us, beliefs placed on us by society, by our peers, by our coworkers, by our parents, by our employers, everyone that we interact with. They all have their own idea about what our life should look like and who we should be based on what they think. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, is this something that has been put on me as a belief, or is this something that I truly believe about myself? Because if you don't really know who you are and what you believe, you spend your life doing exactly what you're told by everyone else. And so you're really living your life for other people. And these are instructions that you've never even agreed to. So let's talk about some of these beliefs that society and everyone around us has given to us. A big one for me is that you have to work harder than every other person in order to get where you really want to go. You have to be the hardest working person. You have to spend the most time. You have to dedicate the most energy to your projects in order to succeed. And that is not at all true. People can do things easily. They can, get in there, get it done, and move on. And that is really simple for some people. So that belief is not true. It's just something that's been told to me by other people. And if I choose to believe that, then that's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to work harder than everybody else around me just to get where I want to go. But instead, I choose to believe that I don't have to work harder than everybody else. I just need to put in the effort that I feel is necessary. I need to put in the proper amount of dedication so that I can get the benefit out of it. Another big one is, this is just how things are. We hear that all the time. This is just how life works. This is just how it is. You just got to get used to it, and some things are outside of our control, but there is a lot of things that are inside of our control. There's a lot of things that we can choose in our experience, in our own experience. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same way everybody else believes it's going to be. So if you hear that, this is just how things are, ask yourself, but is it how they have to be? The next one really hits home for me. I hear all the time, life is supposed to be hard. That has been my life for a very long time, up until very recently, because I believed that to be true. I believed that life was just supposed to be hard. And now that I have changed those beliefs, it's gotten much easier. It's gotten so much more joyful and so much more fulfilling just for me to be able to go at it with a different perspective, to say, you know what, life does not have to be hard. Life can be easy. Life can be fun. Life can be meaningful. Life is supposed to be meaningful, and we're the ones that give it meaning. So what kind of meaning are you giving your life? Are you giving your life everybody else's meaning, where you're just saying, well, that's just how it is, that's just how life is supposed to be. Life is just going to be hard. Or are you going to take the action, the power, and say, you know what? That's not what I believe for myself. I believe that life is meaningful, life is joyful, life is filled with fun surprises. And yes, there are going to be challenges, but if you have an optimistic outlook and you have a bit of curiosity, then you can handle those challenges with, okay, what lesson am I supposed to learn from this? Sorry, can't talk. What lesson am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to be taking away from this experience? And if you look at life with that kind of outlook, you're going to get so much more out of it, so much more meaning, so much more passion and joy and fun and creativity and beauty. So we're also told a lot of things about who we are as a person. And some of those things we just adopt into our personality. Like one of the things I was told as a child is that I talk too much. I was told that actually frequently throughout my life. But regardless, I adopted that as my personality, that I talk too much. And so I just shut up a lot. I became quiet. I held my tongue on a lot of things. I didn't speak up whenever I needed to in a lot of situations, because I was told that I talk too much, because I was told, that I shouldn't be saying something at this point in time, little things like that, little experiences that you have in your childhood. Sometimes they shape who you are when you grow up, and you don't even realize that that's something that was put on you. That's not something that you, developed as a person. It's not part of your personality. It's something that you have adopted that is somebody else's, just because you decided, okay, well, everybody says it's true, I guess it is. Well, it's not true. You decide what's true for yourself. And I hope you know that you are allowed to redefine yourself at any point in time that you choose. You can choose to do that once a week if you want. You can just redefine who you are as a person. And you should be constantly redefining who you are as a person based on what you know now. The version of myself that I created for myself at 21 is so much different than today's version. And I think that next year's version will be so much different than today's version, because I want to be constantly evolving and constantly growing. So that is one of my intentions, is to constantly be improving myself. So I hope that next year, when I look back at who I was today, I am just floored by the progress that I've made. So now we know that living with good intentions without that self-awareness is basically like showing up with the wrong cake order. You have to have that self-awareness and that understanding of who you are and what you truly want as a person outside of what everybody else thinks and wants, for you to be able to determine how to actually live your life with intentions that you will benefit from. So instead of asking myself, what do I want to do with my life? Instead, I'm asking myself, does this bring me closer to what I love and who I am as a person? And if you continually ask yourself that question every time something comes up in your life, you say, okay, is this bringing me closer to what I love and who I am or not? Then you are actually living with good intention. You are becoming the person that you want to be by taking these small steps. With every choice, it's getting you closer to that ideal version of yourself that you want to be. Otherwise, you're just making choices willy-nilly. But this kind of inner work, this kind of self-discovery, it doesn't just show what your passions are, it also shows your sharp edges. It shows what you need to work on. And that's really important to take a look at. So for me, sometimes when I have conversations with people that I really truly care about, I will get up in my head. And when I do that, it is very hard for me to, at the same time, pay attention to what's going on my face on the outside, So there are points and times where I'll be up in my head and my facial expression is kind of just cold. It's not that I don't care about what the person is saying or feeling or thinking. It is that I am so up in my own head about what they're talking about, what my thoughts are, what my next sentence is going to be, that my face is just kind of blank. And it's something I am aware of. And so I need to work on that. So you find these little things about yourself that you go, okay, now that I know that I do this, I can live with intention and I can start making intentions that are going to get me to the point that I'm not doing that anymore, that's not such a big issue for me. So intention is really a tool for growth. It's something that you can use to soften those edges and to make yourself into a better person, a more understanding person. And as you do this self-discovery, it is so important that you don't shame yourself or become upset with yourself for things that you've done in the past, ways that you are now, the ways that those things have affected you in life. Once you become aware of something, you can do better. So don't shame yourself for those kind of things. Meet yourself in those moments with honesty and say, look, this is how we've been, this is how I've been for this many years. And it's because of this. It stemmed from this situation that I had either no control over or I did have control and I chose the wrong thing. But you know what? Oftentimes when you choose the wrong thing, you look back on those moments, and if you really think about it, you did the best you could at the time with the tools you had, with the knowledge that you had at the time. You were doing the best that you could. And maybe you were operating from a very unhealed place. And if that's the case, you probably made some mistakes that you look back on and you go, oh my gosh, who was that person? That wasn't me. But it was you. It was an unhealed version of you. It was somebody who has been through the ringer. And instead of shaming that version and saying, oh, I wish I didn't do that. I regret doing this. I regret doing that. Take a look at those moments and go, okay, I made that decision because I was going through it. I made that decision because I was not myself at that point in time. And instead of shaming myself, I'm going to say, okay, I am going to choose to love myself in that situation. I'm going to choose to love even that version of me that made these horrible mistakes, that chose the wrong things, because I love myself 100%. Give yourself the unconditional love that you have not received from others. That is essential and so important in life, is to learn to give yourself what you need. instead of looking for everybody else to give it to you, because people may let you down. People may not give you exactly what you need. So it's important that you can step up for yourself and say, you know what, that's okay. You can't give me what I need. I'll give it to myself. I can buy my own flowers. I can do my own thing. Um, One of the songs that has really been on my mind lately is the song 24. I believe it's by Switchfoot. I will put that on the screen. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But part of it goes, and I'm not who I thought I was 24 hours ago. And that is something that's really stuck with me. I'm not who I thought I was 24 hours ago. Now that I have done this self-discovery, now that I've done this inner work, I don't have to be that person anymore. I can choose to be somebody better. I can choose to be exactly who I want to be from here on out. So I'll leave you with a final thought. Living with intention isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more you on purpose. So hopefully you're willing to do this self-discovery, to figure out who you are and what you really want, and to live with intention from here. So let me know in the comments if you are ready to live with intention. Put it down there. Let's do this together. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope to see you on Tuesday next week. We'll continue these conversations, and you'll learn a little bit more about my stories, my weird failures in life, all of that stuff. So join me here again. Thanks. Have a great week.